the legacy of the brand is really what our culture comes down to, and it's that kind of family culture that we have, and a lot of folks have that. We have a strong team. We have a great relationship with our owners, and as trends change, as tech comes into play, we've been working with technology in different aspects for decades. We find the best way to balance.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Behind the Franchise. As always, I'm your host, Paul Ehlinger. Excited today, have a friend, Del Salinas from Caring Senior Service on the show. Del, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks, Paul. Appreciate the opportunity to chat a bit.
Absolutely, and for those of the guests who may not be aware of you, if you could, give us your quick background. Who the heck are you, and how'd you get to where you are today?
Yeah, Del Salinas, I'm Director of Franchise Development with Caring Senior Service. We provide non-medical home care to seniors where they live or reside. We're a franchise system and been around 34 years, and I began working with Caring a little over 6 years ago in a different role, working with our hub department, connecting clients and caregivers with our owners and offices, and transitioned into the franchise development role where I get to work with people who want to start their own home care business, operating a caring senior service.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, talk about meaningful work, right? Like, a helping people start their own business, but then the end product is senior services as well. So, like, you got to feel good at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's great to have conversations with people that want to chase their dreams and give an opportunity to follow their dreams, and then ultimately to open their business and to start fulfilling their dreams. So it's pretty cool to be able to be involved with folks in that capacity.
Yeah, no, I love that. And jumping into kind of our first topic of conversation, with your role in franchise development, we were before the call kind of talking about the decision not to use outside capital, to doing franchise development in house. Obviously, they're taking a very intentional growth period over the last 3 decades. Tell us how you guys go about growth. Like, how are you guys focusing on adding more units? What does that process look like for you all internally?
Yeah, so this has been a bit of a progress. The last few years, we've been focusing on building our headquarters team first to be able to
Mm,
provide the best support we can to new owners. Our focus has always been providing the best care for our clients and the best support for our owners. Being around for over 3 decades and not being the biggest bear in the room. We are pushing 60 locations right now, and people always ask, why that number being around so long? And it's
mm,
because we've been very successful to provide our owners with what they need, the profitability, the opportunity to provide this business that provides purpose and reward, and also to grow strategically with people with a like mindset
mm.
of ours. And that's one of our big differentiators is the culture that we have. So we've been working with our team internally to have a very robust team to provide a lot of
Mm.
one-on-one time with our owners, and we're fully uploaded and rocking out some good candidates right now. So we have folks to reach out to us, via online searches, currently through different AIs like ChatGPT, for example, and then
Mm.
other folks that are using support through other means like franchise brokers or other ways to connect. And then we have a conversation and better understand what our business looks like and what the process looks like, and to find out if it's a good
Mm.
fit. And there's a lot of folks who are interested in either exiting the corporate world or have had an
Sure.
experience personally, whether good or bad, and want to jump into this business to provide a great experience for somebody else. And people that have been in the healthcare field for decades and have been putting in the hours for other people and other
Yeah.
agencies that want to do it for themselves now. So a lot of folks I get to chat with.
Yeah. No, that's exciting. And I think you bring up culture being a really large differentiator for you all. In your role, how are you balancing that? How are you, when you're interviewing potential Zs or owners, what are you doing to confirm, hey, these people will be, a good fit and additive to the culture that you guys have built to this point?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, our process is a little bit different than maybe other franchise systems. We've been leading in technology for a little while. I've been doing virtual calls like this, way before 2020, and
Yeah.
we go through a process that's a bit lengthy. The first stage is working with me a lot, where it's virtual calls like this, and we have a chat
Mm,
to understand the why and to kind of walk through our business model. But then we shift gears a bit and have them have one-on-one calls with our directors, with our CEO and vice
mm,
president, and give the opportunity to meet our team. And we get to kind of have a mutual evaluation where we get to see if they're a good fit for
yeah,
us, if we're a good fit for them, and really have the entire team give feedback on these candidates to make sure that it is a good fit before even talking to
yeah,
other owners and getting validation through them. So it's a pretty in-depth process, which has its pros and cons, right? People have to really
sure, yeah,
invest their time into it,
yeah.
but it's a lot more flexible for the candidate and gives us a lot more opportunity to have one-on-one conversations with our owners.
Yeah, when I'm curious, especially as you have your directors all meeting with a potential Z, like what are some of the more common red flags you guys come across in the process? Where you're like, hey, maybe we got to re-verify this, or maybe they really aren't a good fit for the system.
Yeah, it's people that end up wanting to do their own thing, right? People
Mm,
join a franchise system because of the proven systems and processes, and some people just want to be entrepreneurs from the ground up and build something, which is awesome. In the
yeah.
process, when there's a lot of pushback or a lot of wrong questions, there's never really
Mm,
a wrong question, but when the question becomes, why do I need to do it your way? And then we explain the why,
yeah, sure.
and then it's other ideas. Usually that ends up being an opportunity to find other avenues for them, and that's what happens.
Sure,
They end up saying, "Hey, Dale, it's not quite what I had in mind," because we're very honest with them. And to be successful, they need to operate in our systems and processes. And usually, I get the phone call, text, or email that says, "Hey, I think it's not
sure.
quite the fit I thought in mind," which is great, right? We want to learn that way earlier in the process than down the road. So,
Fast no's are the friends, right? You gotta love a fast no.
100%, 100%.
Yeah, no, yeah. To everybody out there, if somebody is selling you something, you're going through something. The faster you say no, the better for everybody involved.
It
Absolutely.
is. It is.
And you bring up kind of your systems and how you guys have scaled. I imagine over 34 years, the systems have probably adapted quite a bit. And I would imagine with technology as it is today, it's always adapting. What does that look like when you guys think about kind of maintaining the legacy of the brand while continuing to grow, shift, and change those systems you have in place?
Yeah. The legacy of the brand is really what our culture comes down to, and it's that
Mm,
kind of family culture that we have, and a lot of folks have that. We have a
yeah.
strong team. We have a great relationship with our owners, and as trends change, as tech comes into play, we've been working with technology in different aspects for decades. We find the best way to balance that high tech and
Yeah.
high touch, right? And finding the
Mm,
best way to embrace technology and the best way to utilize that to be more efficient, to be
mm,
faster, to have better communications with our owners, our teams, and our clients, and still have that family culture fit. And so as things change, the business doesn't really change, right? It's getting caregivers, it's getting clients, and
sure. Yeah,
providing
you're
care.
giving care. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's trying to find the best way to keep the owners and the caregivers and the staff and the clients connected with efficiency and consistency. And so we've been able to lead with that and continues to kind of be our North Star and what we want to do.
Yeah, and I know you guys have like built some proprietary in-house kind of technology, the home care platform. Maybe walk me through that because I think it's unusual, right? Like you guys aren't a massive brand. You don't have 20 developers on the team. What did that decision look like, and how has that kind of played out for you guys?
Yeah, yeah, that's a big differentiator for us. We have our
Hmm.
own software that we created for caring senior service for the home care space. You mentioned the decades we've been in business, and those actually the first decade of business, our CEO and founder operated as a private owner. So he was a private owner
Interesting. Yeah.
operating multiple locations and franchising in 2001, and then using the software everyone uses in hospitals, hospice, home health agencies, and it's great software, but it was missing some pieces. Didn't have everything that you need for the business. If you can imagine starting a new business and needing software for your invoicing, for your billing, for
Yeah.
your
Sure.
clients, for your staff, for marketing, and then they all don't connect. So we found a way to bring it all together into one system. and you use it for everything. It
Yeah.
all connects. So your caregivers come in, they go through the process of being vetted out. You capture all the information you'll use later on to match them with the client. When the client comes in from the initial lead all the way through providing care, it's capturing information and guiding you through that you can use later on to match the right caregiver. And then as technology improves, we can use those data points to make faster matches. We also use that same software for your billing, for your scheduling, for your marketing plans, for your training. There's a lot of other hidden fees sometimes that you don't always see when you're starting a business because you
Yeah.
need all these additional softwares to do the work, and
Yeah.
ours
100%.
allows you to be in one spot. So it's a pretty robust system that allows you to be more efficient. And like any tool, right? It's how you use the tool, right? The hammer doesn't build the
Right.
house, it's how
Sure.
you use the hammer, right? So you have to, candidates that aren't really tech savvy or shy away from that,
Yeah.
have some struggles. We want to make sure that people are open. It's user friendly, but you have to use the system, which goes back to the question earlier about when people decide to pivot. It's, are you
Yeah.
confident, comfortable in our systems and processes? We're going to show you how to do it. We provide the path. You just got to follow the steps.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's interesting, and I think it makes a ton of sense why that's a differentiator as well. You know, when you're going through like the front dev process, right? If it's just like, hey, we've lived this problem, we've built solutions for this problem. It's all very specific and to the point. I'm curious. You know, when you're going through the selection process with the Z, you know, what are the value propositions that you're selling to them to differentiate you from others in the home care senior care space, as you're like, hey, this is why us,
As
not
you're like,
them.
hey,
What's really sticking out for folks?
yeah, there's three big differentiators that I talk about. One I touched on a little while ago. Our CEO and vice president both still own and operate multiple offices. Many of our
Yeah.
competitors are private equity, and we still have our hands in the business. We're still talking to caregivers, daily clients, our office teams, and bring that experience to our owners and can talk about that. And that really keeps
Hmm.
us true to who we are, which goes back to providing the best care for our clients and the best support for our owners, and can speak to that.
Yeah.
And as things change in different states or in a national level, we're able to speak to that because we're dealing with that in real time. Also, the
Hmm.
opportunity to talk to your CEO and vice president at the drop of a hat. I'm not sure how many
Yeah.
large companies you can reach out to and text or call your CEO and vice president to have a chat and to get feedback. That's how close we are with our owners. We
Yeah.
chat with owners pretty regularly, whether it's via Teams or via phone call or email, and have that relationship, which is a big differentiator to be able to have that support from your highest leadership. Second
Sure.
is our process for providing care. We have a system called Great Care that
Mm.
walks you through step by step on those three parts of the business I talked about a little while ago: caregivers, the clients, and providing care. And so combined with our technology, the software that we use, it really gives you a whole package of how to run the business. You're walking into the game plan already
Yeah.
set. We just give you a book and you go and knock it out. Um, but you're not by yourself, right? You always have the robust team I talked about. So now when you're going through our process of meeting our directors and seeing how we work
Yeah.
with our owners, and then you're up and running and you're like, oh, I remember talking with these folks and then walking me through this and now having a relationship where you're working with our headquarters team on day-to-day operations and better understanding how to execute that so that when the light bulb goes off, like, oh, okay, I get it now. We can move forward with it. So
Yeah.
those are our big differentiators there. Is the level of experience we have, the plan to execute your business with our technology, and the support team that is right there with you every step of the way.
Yeah, no, it makes a ton of sense. And I know in your time, you've kind of transitioned from hub services into franchise development. I'm curious, for you, what was that transition like, right? Like taking on that differentiated role. How has it been for you, kind of, taking that over? I mean, it's a crucial part of any franchise, right? It's a hyper important role.
Yeah, it actually worked out really well. Working with owners and offices and the office staff for years
Yeah.
on getting caregivers. So the whole recruitment process,
Hmm.
it kind of went hand in hand in 2020 when everyone was going virtual. It gave us an opportunity. to really flex what we do tech wise. So you bring a caregiver
Yeah.
on from apply all the way through scheduling the caregiver, doing a lot of things virtually. We do want to get eyes on the candidate, right? We do want to
Hmm.
validate the presentation, right? We want to validate good hygiene. So these things you want to see
Yeah.
somebody, but being able to bring a caregiver from apply all the way through, having those conversations, and then talking with the office team, providing that assistance, and having a real understanding of what that looks like allows me to speak to
Yeah.
that with other candidates. And then from the flip side, on the client, when people call in or reach out via online, they talk to our hub team, and so to have that initial conversation with somebody's, spouse or parent or child that's just trying to understand what's going on with options when they're trying to bring their loved one home, having that initial conversation and then walking them through our process to the in-person assessment with our director or owner, and then providing care, and then being able to explain the process of our caregivers because they want to know how do you get your caregivers and who's going to be caring for mom. And so walking them
For
through all
sure.
that and then translating that to this franchise development side and walking through somebody to explain, hey, this is what your day is going to look like. This is what this role is going to look like.
Yeah.
These are the actual daily tasks that need to get done to be successful. It put me in a real good position to speak to that.
Yeah, and I'm curious. So you have a history in like the restaurant space, and when I think about the restaurant world, it's pretty much chaos. It's controlled chaos, is what it feels like, right? Like how much of that have you brought into this role, right? Where it's just like managing people all over the place, having different levels of clients, employees, all this stuff. Like, what have you brought with you up into this that's making you successful?
Yeah, exactly what you talked about. So staffing has always been an urgent need in the restaurant
Yeah.
space. It's an urgent need in any business, and that does translate. The volume of
Hmm.
people wanting to work is there. There's no recruitment shortage anywhere. It's the retention shortage. It's how you treat people when
Yeah.
they apply, and a lot of hourly workers don't always get the professional courtesy or respect from management. So we want
Hmm.
to provide our owners education to be good managers, good leaders, good operators to bring on the people. And I'd say our owners are top notch with that. They do have that passion for servant
Yeah.
leadership that translates very well because you're dealing with people who have families, who have outside of work issues, and you have to work with them, right?
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
more than ever, the employee is just as important, if not more so, than the client, and that's something that
Yeah.
translates over is providing that professional courtesy, professionalism, that dignity to hourly workers to let them know, hey, I wouldn't be here without you, and that translates 100% into this business.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And I'm curious, we've talked a lot about kind of how you're selling within the development process. How much are you talking about the market? Like I was doing some reading beforehand, and it's like apparently 1 in 6 people in the US is over the age of 65. It's the fastest growing demographic segment. Senior care is going to be is already, but is going to be an even bigger industry. Like how much are you leaning into those macro trends, as you're explaining the opportunity?
Yeah, quite a bit. I mean, that's just a fact. Is that as we continue to
Yep.
age, we're going to need more. I mean, there's nowhere in America that's from the home care businesses. It's a huge need,
Yep.
and as this trends in bigger ways, we have to be able to move with those trends, and that includes providing information for our
Yep.
services. Nobody talks about home care until you need it, right? You're not taught
Yeah.
in our
Sure.
30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Hey, you might need this service for mom and dad or for yourself in
Yeah.
the next 10 years. It's always, hey, mom or dad had a stroke, had a heart attack, had an injury, had a fall. They're ready to come home now, but they can't be by themselves. Either they live by
Hmm.
themselves already, or the spouse can't care for them the way they need to. They can't operate their limbs like they should. So who's going to bathe them,
Sure.
toilet them, make meals for them, be around? And this is all brand new. And if you can imagine the stress people go through just through that part of dealing with those illnesses or when those things happen.
Yeah.
Now coming to tap to get someone to care for their loved one, it's all brand new and it can be emotionally fatiguing, stressful.
Mm.
So it's always in the moment that you're talking to somebody who's trying to find out and navigate what is this business that you do, how does it work, everything from who's providing care to who's paying for it. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, I lean into that quite a bit to say this is a big need, and we have the experience to walk you through. how to be successful.
Yeah, no, that makes a ton of sense, and I'm curious with that, right? Like, um, especially thinking, you guys have been around for 3 decades. There's this massive market opportunity in front of you. Um, what does growth look like for you in the next 5 years? Like, what are your goals? What are you focusing on? As you guys do attack this really big opportunity.
Yeah, so it's you know, maximizing the opportunity, maximizing capacity, but still keeping true to our culture, which is providing the best support for our clients and for our owners. And going back to
Hmm.
the development and growth of our internal team to do that, we're able to bring on, 3 to 5 candidates a quarter to
Yeah,
provide that continuity of support and not miss a beat. And as we grow and
yeah,
scale, becoming more efficient ourselves, what we're doing, and then providing more opportunity for our owners. So it's quite aggressive what we're looking at. We put ourselves in a position
yeah.
to continue to provide that consistent support.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. And I'm when I'm thinking about the tactics of your job, right? Like, there's a million ways to reach potential franchisees. What are the pillars you lean heavy on? Are you guys running a lot on LinkedIn? Are you partnering in local communities? What are kind of the pillars you lean on as the director of franchise development?
Yeah, right now it's online search. That's what we're leaning heavily
Yep.
in right now, and it's a lot of volume and repetition. And so a lot of folks are
Mm,
searching for information, starting their own businesses. We do leverage
yeah.
different consultants and do leverage different portal spaces, but kind of as an addition. The volume that we get, the majority is from online lead search. LinkedIn
Mm,
is minimal as well. Social media is also a big one that we leverage on, and with the growth
yeah.
of AI and different virtual chats, people are leaning more into that as
Yeah.
well. And so we spend a lot of time with that volume coming in. And then it's a lot of, getting the reps of, talking to folks and whether they're calling in or we're calling out, get them on the phone and have a chat to better understand what they're looking for and if it's a good fit.
Yeah, yeah. How does AI play within the org? Because I think as an old brand, like, AI is like a fifth evolution of technology that y'all have experienced in the last 30, 40 years. Like, what do those conversations look like for you guys?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's top of mind right now because as it
Yeah,
grows, we have recently established some criteria and guidelines internally for our corporate offices and as well as our owners
interesting.
to stay ahead of that because there can be some inaccuracies in what AI tells you. It's a great tool to do
Yeah,
some mundane tasks and to keep you
mm,
informed as far as like your day and some minor research, but you still have to validate and go through those steps and channels. So we make that part of our process to, again,
yeah,
educate our owners, educate our teams on how to use it appropriately. And then
yeah.
from the consumer side, there's data that's being scraped from every source digitally
Oh
that
yeah, yeah,
provides them with similar information that's not always accurate. And so it's being able to speak to it and get ahead of that to understand what they're
yeah,
seeing before they see it and answer the questions that brings up. And it's been pretty good. A lot of folks are doing a lot of legwork, using different chat systems, which can provide you a ton of information.
yeah, yeah. No, it is. I love hearing that. I think, like, being proactive about it and giving Z's guidance is so important because, I mean, they're reading the business news as well, right? They're seeing AI in every single headline that's coming across their phone. Um, I think it makes a big difference just kind of to lead that up front. I'm curious how you guys handle it because I think it goes a lot of different ways. But let's say a Z is testing a new AI tool out or trying a new thing. Like, how do they go about bringing that to you? How do you guys go about examining innovative new solutions or making those decisions as a system?
Yeah, good question. We brought on recently a new CTO. His
Mm,
name is Justin McAdee, who has a lot of experience in this space. And we have
yeah,
regular conversations with our owners. We have monthly town hall calls, and they're all virtual. We started this back almost 5 years ago, and it's brought a ton of tremendous value to our owners to stay ahead of national updates, as well as state
Yeah.
updates, as well as anything with tech or in the home care space. And so we are usually ahead of most conversations to give
Yeah.
this direction. So when someone has an idea, we want them to share it with us so we can look at practicality and how we can use that appropriately. And then we will run tests internally ourselves to get permission to approve something or disapprove of it. So we do have processes in place
Hmm.
where we welcome people to experiment and share with us so that we can make sure we're you know, covering the guidelines that we need to.
Yeah, makes a ton of sense. And I mean, I love even that you guys have hired a CTO, right? Like, I think it's probably unusual for a brand of your size to already have a CTO, but it really like stays true to what you guys are talking about of like build that internal support system so that as you grow, there's no surprises. We're ready for scale, all that good stuff. Like, it's just, it's a through point. You guys clearly live by it.
Yeah, yeah, it gives us a good opportunity to stay ahead of the game, and there's just so much that you can do in the technology space that allows us to continue to invest in that. So that at the end of the day, we're getting back to providing the best care for our clients, the best support for our owners.
Yeah, no, I love that. And coming to a wrap on our episode, Dell, like I think this was fantastic. I appreciate you kind of walking us through. You know, I love how you guys are building the system, how you build the culture. I think it really comes through in everything you guys are doing and how you're making those decisions. But for the audience, you know, where can they find you? Where can they learn more about caring and all of that good stuff?
Yeah, so caringfranchise.com is where you can find information about the franchise system or caring senior service.com. We are also on social on LinkedIn, as well as other social medias like Facebook as well. So anywhere they're looking for information, simply caring senior service will pop up. And if they're interested to learn more, they can reach out. I'd love to have a chat anytime.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Adele, for your time today. I'm sure everybody else appreciated it as much as I did.
Awesome. It's my pleasure. I appreciate the opportunity. Thanks, Paul.
Uh, Absolutely. And everybody else, thank you again for listening to another episode of Behind the Franchise. And we look forward to having you all on the next one. Talk to you soon.